Yo, what's up, world? This is your boy CB coming at y'all with another video. This is the last week of February, aka All Black, and this is our last movie review for this month. And I gotta say, the last three movies I did were pretty good films. You know what I'm saying? But this one here, I'm going to go ahead and give it a score now because I rarely give out the score for any film. I only gave this one to one other film, and that's a 10 out of 10. But this movie here is it's like one of my favorite movies of all time. That's Finding Forrester, starring Sean Connery, Rob Brown, and Busta Rhymes. So, pretty much, the story is about this kid who gets accepted into this prestigious private school in Manhattan due to his test scores and all of that. But the thing is, he don't want anybody to know, like not his mother, not his friends, and nobody to know that he's a freaking genius, because the guy was smart. You know what I'm saying? And how you know that he had intelligence, because I don't want to talk about it from scene to scene, because I feel like y'all gotta watch this movie, because surprisingly a lot of people that I talk to has never seen this movie. They heard of it, but they never saw it. And I feel like this is one of those movies that you can actually show in school, because it's just that good and it's that important. You know what I mean? But it's about, like I said, it's about this guy named Jamal. He's a basketball star, but at the same time, he wants to be a writer. So, how he met Sean Connery's character, William Forrester, one day or one night, him and his friends decided to, do a dare. Because every day while they were playing ball, at the court, they looked up and they saw William looking down at them. And so it was considered an urban legend around that area about him, Forrester, you know what I mean? That he never came out of his apartment or nothing like that. So Jamal was successful into breaking into his apartment. And he was mesmerized by all the books that he saw. And then he came across this dagger that was laying on his table. And he decided that he was going to take it. But he got caught by Forrester, and Jamal ran out the apartment, but accidentally left his book bag there. But the next day, when he returned to the area, when he came back to the area, Forrester threw his book bag out the window down into the street. And so Jamal, he checked to make sure everything was still there, and then he checked his books. So basically they had like an unofficial communication, you know what I mean? Forrester pretty much saw something in him, not right away, but you could say almost immediately, just because of the writings that were in his book bag. So, Jamal checked his books, and some of his writings were edited by Forrester. So later on, they got tight, they got real close. So, Jamal, he was juggling a lot of things. He was hanging out with Forrester. He was playing ball. And then, he was writing and everything like that. But it was one scene in this movie that is very satisfying, because there's this teacher that he had at the private school he started going to. And I swear to God, this teacher was a piece of shit. Like, to me, he was a racist. You know what I'm saying? Because I felt like he was trying to do everything in his power to get Jamal the hell up out of his class. Excuse me. And so it was one scene when Jamal was in his class, and the teacher asked this other kid to stand up to tell him about an author that wrote what was on the board. You know what I'm saying? But the kid couldn't do it. So Jamal, he started going back and forth with the teacher, and the teacher was quoting different lines from different passages and books and all that. And every time he did that, And to me, this is like one of the best scenes in the movie. Every time he did that, Jamal named the exact author who wrote it. And the teacher got pissed off and threw him out the class. So it was one scene. Now, this scene here, I felt like Jamal had made a major blunder with this. So while Forrester was teaching him how to, write better, he had this essay or the story that he wrote, and he wanted Jamal to copy the exact words down. That way he can get the feel and the rhythm, typing on the typewriter and all that. And so when Jamal rewrote the whole thing, he decided that he was going to use that particular essay or whatever, and then he turned it in. So at first, the teacher didn't believe he wrote it anyway. So later on, we come back around to the teacher because he wanted to talk to Jamal, and the teacher found out that the story was plagiarized, and he was trying to get him pretty much expelled out of the school. So I'm gonna skip over a lot of stuff because, like I said, I want y'all to watch this movie for yourselves. So while Forrester was teaching Jamal how to write, Jamal wanted Forrester to come out the house and experience the world again because, Forrester hadn't left his house in years. And he had a guy, pretty much delivering all his groceries and everything like that. So one night, Jamal convinced Forrester to go out, or to finally go out, and they, was going to this basketball game or whatever. And as they were walking through the crowd, trying to get to the bleachers and all of that, to their seats, not bleachers, to their seats, you know what I'm saying? They got separated. They were accidentally separated. So Forrester was looking for Jamal. Jamal was looking for Forrester. You know what I'm saying? And Forrester, he started having a panic attack, I believe. And he went over into this little corner. And Jamal finally found him. So they decided to leave. And Jamal took him to this empty baseball field. You know what I'm saying? And so Busta Rhymes was actually, his character, which was Jamal's brother, was actually working out there, pretty much working parking lots and all that. You know what I'm saying? But the field was empty, and so Jamal took Forrester down to the field, and this is where Forrester really opened up to Jamal, right? So not long after this is when they had their falling out. After Jamal found out that the story that he turned in to his teacher, or the essay, was plagiarized, because he found out that Forrester actually submitted this exact story. Well, not the exact story. It was in Jamal's own words, but it was scrambled up. You know what I'm saying? It was pretty much remixed. You know what I mean? But at this point, Jamal was pissed. So him and Forrester, they had a falling out. And at this point, Jamal, he was gonna give up. He was gonna stop writing and just, pretty much just give up on that and focus on basketball. So after they lost their last game, Forrester, he decided that it was time to leave the house and experience the world again. So the last part of the movie, the teacher, Jamal's at school, and the teacher was doing his asshole thing, teaching the class, and this is when Forrester walked into the classroom. You know what I'm saying? Because the night before, after the game, Jamal went home and went to sleep. And Busta Rhymes' character walked into his room, and he saw the envelope. I guess it was supposed to go to Forrester. You know what I'm saying? So he took the envelope to Forrester for Jamal. You know what I'm saying? And what was in that envelope was an essay that Jamal wrote. Everything was original, no plagiarism, no none of that. So this was the paper that Forrester showed up at the school to read. So when everybody found out who he was, they got quiet and he started reading the essay. And the teacher that was giving Jamal shit the entire time in the movie, you know what I'm saying, he was hella impressed because he assumed that Forrester wrote it. But when Forrester told him that Jamal wrote it, this mother, I try not to curse, but this hole, you know what I'm saying, was still trying to get Jamal kicked out. But it didn't work. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the movie, Jamal and Forrester, they made up. And Forrester told him that he was going to go off to Scotland. And not long after this, sadly, we find out that the whole time Forrester had cancer. Excuse me. Sorry, y'all. But he had cancer. And he passed away and left everything to Jamal. You know what I'm saying? His writings, everything, even his apartment. You know what I'm saying? He left it all to Jamal. So I feel like this movie it's like a breath of fresh air. You know what I'm saying? Because there was really no white savior. You know what I mean? Like the scene where Forrester came in to read Jamal's essay in front of everybody. That was Jamal's own writings. You know what I'm saying? He came in there basically to shut the teacher the hell up. That's in my opinion. You know what I mean? And Jamal's friends wasn't street dudes like that. You know what I mean? They did some dumb shit, I'm sure. Like when they dared Jamal to go up into Forrester's apartment in the first place. But they wasn't out there like selling drugs. They wasn't doing none of that shit. You know what I mean? They was just regular old average dudes playing ball and just hanging out. You know what I'm saying? And that's, this movie really impressed me, man. But like I said, I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. If you haven't seen it, check to see where it's streaming, because I'm not sure. Like before I got the movie on DVD, I was trying to find it before that, you know what I'm saying, but I couldn't. So make sure y'all check it out, man. Finding Forrester. And that concludes my review for this movie in all black. So next month we're going to be starting March Madness. We're going to be talking about, and I know it's associated, you know what I'm saying, with basketball, but we're going to be talking about just different sports movies, man. So stay tuned for that, and I will get with y'all later. All right? Peace.